Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Travelers Season 2, Episode 3. It's called Jacob. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. First things first, there's a 2-month time jump right at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Which actually might be my one complaint about the episode, is that it happens at such a weird moment after seeing basically other travellers in the kidnap room in the chair and with the TV screen and all that. We've seen it before. We see that there was a small scene with Mac and Kat, and that did seem like it was, following up the baby stuff. It felt like he was picking her up from an appointment of some kind, but
yes,
because it was just that, and then these other characters dying, and then we cut 2 months ahead. I will admit, for a little bit, I wasn't sure if we'd actually had a 2-month jump in the present day plot, or if we were just seeing something that happened 2 months ago, and then we jump forward to present
I know
day.
what you mean. It was like, okay, is this supposed to have been 2 months earlier, sort of thing, or is it actually okay? No, everything's 2 months forward. It becomes clear as it goes on. But
of course it does. But it's clear that there's actually been 2 months have passed since the last episode.
But it is a little awkward for a few minutes.
It's just a weird time to do it. I feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe just it's immediately after the previously on, just black screen, boom, 2 months later. Or so, I mean, they even have the scenes at the start, I suppose. But
I feel like
we need to have one or two more scenes with our main cast before it did the jump.
Yeah,
I guess is what I'm saying.
Just to really make it clear, see some of that immediate fallout from before, and then move forward.
Yeah. Because we find out Marcy's working at a hospital now. Maybe a scene with her looking for a job or something like that, and then cut 2 months ahead, and she's got a job now. Not that I needed that explained, just something to, I don't know, just make it feel clearer.
I wonder if this is one of those rare times where this show feels hampered by the network time slot of, it's got to hit 42, 44 minutes. Whereas, so they're like, okay, well, we haven't got time to waste on, okay, we could show a few extra scenes, but we haven't got that extra 2 minutes. So that's the first thing to go.
I'll say it's not the runtime, I think it's the issue. I think it's more the structure of a network TV show, because of where the ad breaks fall.
That could be it, yeah.
I think it's more that than the actual time.
Yeah, you might be right.
Because it happened before the opening title.
Yeah.
And that's, it's kind of a weird place for it. I don't know. But hey, so let's get into the meat of everything else then. So we mentioned Marcy. Marcy's working at the hospital. I'm glad they specified a little bit later what her exact job was, because I was actually thinking about it when I first seen her. I'm like, right, okay, I know she's like a medical expert, right? But she has to prove that to get a job in a hospital. She has to prove, if she's a doctor, she has to prove that she can do that. So I'm glad that it was a bit more, it was just a technician for the X-ray machine.
Yeah, X-ray technician, someone who can turn on off and on a machine, essentially.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that it's something that, I mean, I imagine there's still some qualifications you might need for that. I mean,
sure, some training, but I don't think you'd have to go. It's not like being a doctor or a nurse or something like that. Yeah.
So she's actually way overqualified, of course, but they don't know that,
course.
And she can't prove it, of course. So, but no. So we see she's got a job, so that's how she's supporting herself now, and she never had that in season 1. So she now has her own thing. Random doctor dude clearly has the hots for her. Of course he does.
Yep.
And at the same time, we find out David is back with his ex-girlfriend, which is just funny, because just last episode I was like, oh, it's going to be them eventually getting back together. No, I actually still think it is that. This is not dampened my enthusiasm for that plot, especially since most of this episode, David is clearly far more interested in her than he is his girlfriend.
Oh, absolutely.
His girlfriend is dying. Which, actually, I was laughing, because when she's got these stomach pains, and because she keeps talking about how he's mysterious now and all that, he's like, oh, you don't know what mysterious is. Because Marcy, of course, was, like, as he points out,
mysterious.
Batgirl was the word he likes to bring up. But, so, when we find out what it's actually wrong with her, she's actually been eating cotton balls. All I could think was, what, are you Chanel number 10? What? I was getting Scream Queens flashbacks.
I know. I loved his reaction. He's like, oh, it's just bloody cotton balls again. Can't believe she's back on this nonsense.
I'm like, Jesus. But yeah, so he has this whole awkward thing where he invites her over to dinner, and it's funny because I feel like typically we'll groan at the first signs that they're going to do a love triangle of some sort. I think what's funny with this one is that there's like no, like we know he's still into Marcy.
It's not playing it like a love triangle. There's the two of them and then a distraction.
Yeah, I almost feel bad. I mean, as much as like, there's not much of a character in this third wheel, I almost feel bad for her because she is just this awkward placeholder that, and it's clear, like, you know, that scene where he's on the phone to Marcy asking her over for dinner, and he's just like stumbling over his words, and he's making a sort of lovable buffoon out of himself, trying to like ask her. You know, it's nice, and it's a really sweet scene when she's asking like, what was I like? Because she wants to actually sort of discover who she was in that time.
Yeah.
And he starts like talking about stuff, and he's trying to describe her, and it's really hard. And then he's like, you know, maybe the best way to like sort of the best gauge of seeing who you are is the effect you have on others. And he just describes like how he felt every time he saw her, and like, and he specifically says every time you walk through the door. And I actually, as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, the actual girlfriend's going to walk through the door any minute now, and it's going to feel completely different to that. And sure enough, it was this awkward, oh, better act normal.
Yeah, I was actually, you know, when she was like, oh, you know, okay, she's not here yet, I was convinced she would be like, oh, she's not actually coming.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought they were going to pull that for a while.
It's all a ruse, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have seen that. Meanwhile, Trevor, not a lot of specific stuff, it's just Trevor. I just want to point out, I really like the scene, because, I mean, we never even mentioned this last episode, but Grace had a little jokey moment where she's actually completely healed in the last episode, but she was faking it because if she was already okay,
she'd be a medical miracle.
Exactly. So she has to kind of go through, and we see that Trevor's doing this, and I love the scene before this though, because his dad, like, he's actually consoling his father because his father's upset that he can't be this big football star anymore.
His dad's like, you know, he'll be all right, you know, you'll get through this. And Trevor's like, yeah, I know, I'm good. Are you alright?
Yeah, and then it becomes about him comforting his dad for the entire scene. And just right at the very end, he goes, oh, and you'll be okay too. After he's like had all this reassurance, he's like, yeah, I know, just fine.
Yeah.
But then we see him get out, and he actually just, you know, as soon as the car's far away enough, he just, like, the crutch gets lifted up, and he just starts jogging.
It's a nice scene, though.
Yeah, I really like the reveal, because it's kind of in slow motion, as he kind of switches to the jog. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I get it.
Because at first, obviously, they were playing it for a while. You know, Grace was saying that the nanotech was taking it longer than it should have done. And I was wondering, are they playing it like, okay, no, this hasn't quite worked the way it should have done. It's not fully there.
He's going to always have a crutch or something, maybe. You know, literally and figuratively, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And it wouldn't have surprised me because they set up as a possibility. So this actually plays as a nice reveal of, no, he's actually okay.
Well, this is where the 2-month time jump kind of benefits everything, is that we go over that recovery period. We don't have to actually have the hospital stuff for that long. We've skipped over some stuff with Kat, where she's clearly decided to have the baby at this point.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and they seem to be even growing closer again, because she's still living at the apartment, but he's, like, visiting more often. He's bringing her food and stuff. Like,
they seem kind of all right.
So, yeah, not a whole lot to say on the Kat stuff. I will say that apartment's really fancy. I like the whole... the bedroom having like just windows, but it's up like above the main. It's really fancy.
Yeah, it was nice. I liked her asking Mac if he's told Walt yet about the baby, and he's just like, nope, no, I'm not told anyone. I can't tell them. That's against the rules.
Yeah, that's a good point. He has to fess up at some point. Just quickly hit the Philip stuff. I feel like Trevor and Philip didn't have necessarily their own plots that much this episode, beyond the moment with Trevor before, and then Philip, he's getting addicted now to the eye drops, which we kind of predicted last episode, that he's just trading one addiction for the other.
Yeah.
And he gets really paranoid at one point, thinking Trevor stole his eye drop, and he's not really.
It feels like this addiction is slightly less damaging in the sense that he is complete, like, you know, there's not as many adverse effects when he's on the drug.
Yeah, but when he comes off it, it seems
when he comes off it, it's just as bad. Yeah.
So we can see how that develops. But of course, I think this one was a bit more focused in the last two, I think, and the main plot was really hitting at something.
Yeah.
Actually, before we get to that, well, obviously, baby plot. It's Jeffrey Jr. We should mention that. I know we don't want to as much, but so they're pretending to be a happy couple, and you know the social worker's even like, yeah, you're faking. I can tell you're faking, but you're putting a lot of effort in, so maybe you'll actually be decent parents. Like, you know, you might never be great great spouses, but as parents, you might work out okay. And this, they get him back, and immediately Jeff's like, let's have a drink to celebrate. Oh, that's
You just hear the cork pop, and it's like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. I suppose it works in a weird way because you're kind of with Carly in the scene because you're like, really? Seriously? I mean, immediately. You know? So that's the thing. Well, see, on the one hand, I'm happy with the 2-month time jump because we didn't have to go through all the build up to them getting the kid back. But now I'm worried that it's going to be more drama with him.
Yeah, like the scene near the start, you know, with the two of them doing the exercises. I'm there just kind of going, why am I watching this? Yeah, what's this doing here? I'm not entirely sure of its purpose, honestly.
Not yet. It never amounted to much in season 1. We'll see if something interesting happens with it in season 2 at some point. You feel like he's around for some reason, like they'll eventually do something with him.
Yeah, because I mean, at least in season 1, they did have the stuff where he was involved with Marcy. You know, he was the cop who's got the police footage of her attacking the people at the start.
I wonder. I can see him being travelled into at some point, and then we have this weird dynamic where her and another traveller have to take care of the baby.
That could be interesting. I hope that's the case, actually.
That could be a fun.
That sounds more interesting than this.
But the main plot, so. They find the remains of bodies of 4 out of 5 travellers, another group of 5. 4 of them have been found dead, still strapped to the chairs, and this is kind of the main plot of the episode. Looking into this and tracing this back, try to find the 5th one, the one who's missing, the titular Jacob, who they do track down. And there's a really cool scene actually where they found like one of the other team members like comms, and they've been hacking into it so they can get it working, get on their frequency and talk to him. And he's very like, you know, you don't see him, we never cut to him.
You can see how jumpy he is, even though obviously you're just hearing him.
You just hear him. He's just nice little touch though. You do get the sound waves on the computer screen as they're listening to it, and they try to talk to him, and he's not having it. He's like, no, don't, you're going off script. You're going off mission. Do not come for me. He's terrified, but Matt, obviously, he's the guy's girlfriend came in before. He goes to the girlfriend's house. Very quickly susses, hey, that phone's been destroyed. Someone's trying to cover their tracks.
Yeah, and let's not have a look. He cut out his comms out of his neck.
He did, yeah. You see that. When you have him, yeah, because that's the end of the scene when they're talking to him. He starts cutting them out. You just hear him like grunting and like moaning in pain. But they get him. But of course, they end up having to chase him. And they're at like this fence in the alleyway. Carla's grabbed him and she's like, right, okay. And he says a little bit. He's like, no, the faction, this faction, that. And just as he's starting to get to useful conversation, gunshot out of nowhere. Like this faction, they're watching. They are.
I really like that you don't see the shooter. Like, obviously they're looking around and you see a few places, but it's not even a case. Sometimes the TV show will show us where they were, but not the characters.
I think up until this point, not counting, of course, Vincent and his cronies directly, we've never seen the faction in operation, I don't think. They've always been this unseen entity of some kind. Yeah,
you're right.
Where we're never really sure if someone's a faction member or, if there are definitely faction members doing something right now, we never see them. It's this, and it puts you in this, almost horror movie level of darkness where you can't really see the threat coming.
Yeah.
And so far it's been quite effective. I think it works. But he's in the car, he's dying of his gunshot, and he's like, telling them stuff, and it all boils down to, someone is all these places where everyone's been taken. They all sort of go up to the same parent company, and he doesn't quite get a name out. I was actually surprised when they figure out the name of the person in the episode. I thought they weren't going to do that right away.
See, I'm glad they did, because I thought that even though he didn't get to give them the name, I thought it was clear. All they have to do then is, okay, well, we know they're all owned by the same thing, so we just find the one trail. We just have to follow the one path up.
No, it was enough information. It was just when he didn't, I felt like, okay, that's maybe something that'll be another episode or two before we get to that point. But lo and behold, they figure out Vincent's name, and Matt goes to see him. Matt actually goes there, and I wonder if he didn't seem to be thinking this at the time. I don't know, but when the guards like holding up the iPad or whatever, and it's just the text, I'm like, is this reminding him of the TV? Like, when they were being interviewed, when they were captured. I don't know if it was, but he goes in, very awkward conversation.
Just before he gets in, obviously he has to leave all his phone, and the guard says, leave all your electronic devices, anything that can listen, communicate. Obviously, they don't know about his comms. I do wonder, do they record on any level, or do they just transmit in the moment?
I'll say no because we've had no evidence to suggest that they do.
No, we don't. But obviously, I'm just they're talking about we don't want anything that communicate.
Well, because I think about it,
to ask for the comms.
End of last season when Trevor was with Grace and he was trying to keep her off grid, like he was there the whole time with his comms on.
That's true.
So and that was like okay, that was safe.
Yeah, you're right.
So we have evidence to suggest that. But what I really liked about this scene though, especially it was definitely confirmed afterwards, and I was pretty sure going in anyway, but it definitely confirmed it later. Vincent knows who Mac is.
Oh yeah.
And I loved that he brings up an event from before him coming back
because he knows that he won't remember it, and he's just like he's just having fun with it, isn't he?
And he's like, oh, I know you. I met you and your wife. Oh, Kat. And obviously, he would never remember that name. He's obviously done research, but he brings up this plausible thing. And I was really impressed with the character. Well, I guess the writing more than the character, but that it cut to immediately after this scene to them looking this up. Like, okay, corroborate this, find this party.
Because Max goes, oh, I'm sorry, I don't really remember you. Because he can't say, oh yeah, I remember you, and because then Vince's like, well, I wasn't really there,
Yeah.
He can't give anything away in the moment. He plays it really well.
Yeah, but I was actually really proud of the writing because I wouldn't even be mad if they didn't do this right away. Like I would have been okay if it took Mac a little bit of time to maybe think, or maybe he was intentionally doing that. But no, very next scene it cuts to, and he's with you talking to someone else, Connor? You put your finger there. That's what they do when they're talking to someone.
I was really lost. I was like,
it was a little joke. It was a little joke.
It went over my head, clearly.
But yeah, so he's got Philip looking into him, and like, okay, we were definitely there. There's no proof that he was there, but that doesn't mean he wasn't. They can't, just because there's no photo of him, they can't say he wasn't there. So he's like, okay, hack into this guy, and Philip's hacking in. He's like, oh, this guy's like the best, secure. This is like the most secure network in the planet. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This guy is so advanced for the 21st. Obviously I'm thinking because he's not from the 21st, but he's going in and very suspicious. Now I think Vincent wants them to find things.
He let them in, yeah,
because he gets to the seventh, whatever it was, not firewall, it was another word, but he gets to the seventh redundancy. That was it, and he's like, oh, it's not working. And Mac yells something, and then it opens up. He's like, oh, yelling at it worked. And I'm like, yeah, that's not suspicious.
Yeah. It's like they just let you in for whatever reason.
And sure enough, they get all these photos and I think footage of all these interrogations of all these different people. They even find their own faces. And,
yes.
Most interesting as well, the photos of their loved ones in their apartments and stuff. You see Kat, which this is when I was like, right, we're taking this guy out, right? And this was again, they've been sparse with the F-bombs, but this was a really nice one here where Mac's just like, F yeah, we are, because he sees Kat on surveillance. He's like, no, I'm not happy with this.
You know how I said I didn't really notice the first one? I noticed this one. Yeah, this one stuck out.
Yeah, this one was like this had weight behind it. This was
earned. This was like, yeah, you're damn right we effing are. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that was a big moment.
And everyone, I mean, Trevor's like, oh, this is kind of going against Protocol 5, and he's like, no, this is Protocol 1. This is interfering with the plan. So we're taking this guy out. And, they're all gearing up, bulletproof vests, getting the guns out, strategic. Everyone's in, except Trevor, who's got his doubts. And they're ready to go when they get a child messenger, as does Vincent at his home. His kid just goes far enough from the house that they beam a message into his own child, which, given Vincent's fears, is terrifying to him.
It is, but at least when we're seeing it, we go, okay, the kid's young enough.
Oh yeah, the kid's not thingy. I mean, that's what saved him really. But he basically both sides get kind of the same message to an extent, obviously slightly different because of the context, but it's basically, hey, stand down, stop this. And our team's perspective is like, no, don't go and kill this guy. But in Vincent's perspective, is like, hey, 001,
stop pursuing. He says the specific traveler number though, not that team. Just stop going after that traveler.
Yeah.
So it's not stop what you're doing in general. Just not that one.
Yeah, and again, I have to wonder, is that one from the director, or is that one from the faction?
What I find particularly interesting is Vincent listens. Why? Because obviously he's been kind of doing his own thing. He's gone rogue. He's not on mission anymore. Why does he go, no, okay, I'll listen to this one?
because it's not the message that he was expecting to hear, I think.
Okay.
You know, I think if he was getting a message, because he got, he got one from his wife before. He did hear the message before she died. It was more, terminate yourself. Like, you're not meant to be here. It was that simple.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was more specific. This wasn't any, like you say, this wasn't that. It was like, stop getting after so and so. And I think, I mean, he's still scared. Like, he's going on the run with his son. He's like, no, we're leaving the house and we're never coming back.
Yeah, they know where we are now. So right, abandon.
But no, it is curious, and it's like, well, if the director sent the message back to our team, why did they not want him to interfere?
Well, this is the question, isn't it? Was it the director? And if this wasn't the director, if this was the faction that sent it back to our team, telling them to stand down, was it the faction who were telling Vincent to stand down? As well? Did the message come from the same person, or is it the opposite teams trying to confuse messages?
And of course, when the end of the episode, as Matt goes out, he's taking the little girl home, and we see that the bodyguards from Vincent's house were all spying on the place, and they're all sort of driving away. It's like, actually, I think 3 episodes in, what I'm really feeling, and it's kind of obvious given how we started this with introducing Vincent, but 3 episodes in, I'm feeling like, no, this season has a villain.
Yeah, it's very different, isn't it?
Last season was all about trying to stop these events. It was, breaking into that plant or whatever, and trying to stop the asteroid and all these things. Like, it was very much that kind of thing. Whereas this season, it feels like, no, we've got a force working against us. We have a villainous side. And do you know what? I want to give them credit as well. I feel like that kidnapping episode in season 1, it was fairly early on. I think it was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, 5, maybe 6. It was definitely halfway earlier, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And I want to give them credit that it wasn't like it's super relevant, because at the time it was like, okay, who did that? That was weird, but it's not really becoming clear. Obviously, we heard about the faction at the end of the season, and it was them that did it. But this season, it feels like no context. This is really coming into play. It's really important.
I like
now.
that it was a case of, okay, we were on mission then, so the mission came first. Forget about who took us. That's not important. That can wait. And the show just took that literally. It was like, oh, that can wait. You can get that next season.
Yeah, but it's turning out to be really important, so I'm actually really impressed with the game plan in that sense, that it was like seeded so early on. It was a big deal for an episode, but it was like, okay, now we have other things to focus on. And I also, let's point out as well, Mac brings this up, it's a very good point, is that these kidnappings have been happening long before they heard the faction existed in the future.
Yes.
Which is interesting. It makes me wonder, like, just depending on how things work, is like, because Vincent's been starting to do these things, but it wasn't until he'd done so many of them that it actually led to the events of the faction happening. Yeah,
unless the faction being created is an offshoot of this, and they just kind of play into it.
Yeah, possibly. Because it's weird. It's like, is it technically the faction that's doing this if it's Vincent, when the faction maybe gets created as a result of him eventually, but is it the faction already? Yeah, I don't think so. I think it would be too easy to say he is the faction. Yeah. That said, though, I feel like when we're referring to his goons en masse, we're still going to probably call him the faction just to make life easy. Because yeah, unless we're assuming things wrong, which we might be. Oh, we could be. They might swerve us. They very well could. Is very possible. Yeah. But no, an interesting, like, again, like, just kind of like how last episode we had that whole timeshare mystery. Like, we didn't have any of that this episode. We left that for now. No, and they were really smart, because immediately, we hear about that, we see this team at the start, and you go, oh, it's a team of 5. So immediately go, okay, so these aren't the people from the timeshare, because they were teams of 6. Oh, absolutely, yeah. So immediately we're going, okay, this isn't them. That's that 2 months. Because I would never have recognised them, because we only got so little of them, and the one guy we do see before the time jump of one of the guys that died, he's covered in like sweat and blood. He's all like, yeah, I wouldn't have got a good look. Well, I never recognised him. He could have been he could have been Christian Bale, and I probably wouldn't have spotted it in that quick glimpse that we got. Probably not, no. But yeah, so no, I think it's setting up a lot of things, and this was a very confident episode. It was very, again, really focused. It was really about this, setting up this main threat for the season. It was establishing they know who the villain is, and I'll be honest, they know who the villain is a lot earlier than I thought they were going to. Well, that's it. This is what makes it interesting, because they know who the villain is. They were going to take him out, but then it's like, no, we can't. So it's like, what's the plan from here? They can't go and take him out because they've had orders not to. Yeah. But at the same time, they're
presumably going to be quite terrified of him because he's watching them, he's watching their families.
Yeah, and at that point I have to wonder: is the season going to build to a point where they're like, we have to disobey the order?
Quite possibly, which is something that we were thinking about last episode. With the I can't remember her name. The Phillips girlfriend.
Oh, Jenny, I think.
Yeah. With her, kind of going, oh well, yeah, we program the rules. We should have that leniency as we need it.
Yeah.
And so that being set up there early on feels like, okay, that makes sense for where this is going to head to.
Yep. No. It's exciting. I generally think all the things that it's playing with so far is exciting. And I'm shocked that we've only had one countdown to Arrival so far.
I know. And I've got to say, I really forgot how much I enjoyed this show. Like, I know I enjoyed it, but I forgot just how much until I'm watching it again and getting into it.
Yeah, a year away makes you forget, doesn't it? Especially when it's a binge show like this. At least unless you're in Canada and you get it week to week, you get it for like a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, and then it's gone for a year, and then you get it again. So it's easier to forget in those situations. But anyway, that is episode 3. So by all means, like, subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. If you want to support us, get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You can do that over there. But otherwise, that's us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?